Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update and Spain's tourism industry dominating headlines here today, but more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that have left comments on the channel recently. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that have also supported the channel in recent times, whether it's through Super Thanks, Super Chat, buying me a coffee, or on Patreon. Thank you for your support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, the tourism industry here dominating headlines. The good side of tourism, one article, and the ugly side of tourism, another article that we'll look at today. The first one, positive. And as we can see here, Spain's tourism jackpot, 178 billion euros by 2023, and a 20% contribution to national GDP. The number of tourists and the amount they spent in Spain in the second quarter are the best prelude for the sector in the run-up to the summer. According to Exceltour, the Alliance for Tourism Excellence, after the good start to the year, the growth in tourism GDP will reach 179 billion euros, which is equivalent to 18 billion more than in 2022 and 13.6% more than in 2019. Following the line marked by the INE last week, the shadow of the pandemic is close to being erased, although, due to inflation, the GDP indicator would still close 1% below that recorded in 2019. The volatility of prices is what most worries the more than 2,000 businessmen who were surveyed by the Tourism Employers Association. However, the contribution of the sector, which reaches 20% of Spanish GDP, is one of the achievements that most stands out in the study published on Thursday. So there we go, a positive article about tourism here in Spain, booming at the moment, 20% of GDP. I'll say that again, 20% of GDP is tourism in this country, and as we saw in that article, we have recovered from the pandemic. So tourism in this country, as I said, booming at the moment, and that's the good news. And here comes the bad news, and it's a pretty lamentable story, because as we can read here, police are searching for a female British tourist who slit the throat of an Ibiza hotel manager. The Guardia Civil is searching in Ibiza for a British tourist who slit the throat of the assistant manager of a hotel in Sant Antoni. The incident took place on Sunday afternoon, and she has not yet been located. The aggressor was having a drink in the hotel, and when the worker went to bring her the bill, she lashed out at her. She did not seem to agree with the bill and decided to throw a glass at the employee. However, local media also suggest that it could have been an assault with a broken bottle. The glass or bottle ended up cutting the 30-year-old hotel worker's neck, who was immediately taken to hospital and had to undergo surgery on 2 occasions. Police officers have set up a checkpoint at the airport and are trying to identify the tourist through the images from the security cameras of the hotel and from the street. So there we go, and that's the ugly side of tourism in this country. Unfortunately, that drunken tourism, which is all too prominent in places like Ibiza, Mallorca, Benidorm, and other coastal resorts. A woman sitting down having a drink, obviously out of her mind drunk. The waiter or the hotel worker brings the bill. The woman doesn't agree with the bill, so she decides to throw a glass at the waiter, or, as some reports are suggesting, break a bottle and slash the worker's throat, although that hasn't been proven yet. This person then decides to flee the scene, and the Guardia Civil and National Police are looking for her on the island. There are now checkpoints at the airport, so there is no way that this person is getting off the island of Ibiza without speaking to the police first and trying to clear up exactly what happened at that hotel. And let's be honest about this, what type of person does that to a hotel worker? I don't care how drunk a person is, this person, the culprit here, the person that carried out this offense, is an absolute animal. And the poor hotel worker having to undergo 2 surgeries because of that slit throat. So no wonder locals here in Spain are fed up with this type of tourism and this type of tourist. Now, the third piece of news we'll look at today, bad news for drivers in this country, because the director of the DGT Traffic Authority here in Spain has announced that tolls will be introduced on Spanish motorways in 2024. The Director General of Traffic, Pere Navarro, has confirmed this Thursday, something that the President of the government, Pedro Sánchez, denied last Monday in his face-to-face television interview with Alberto Núñez Feijóo, that tolls will return to Spanish motorways next year. Navarro announced this Thursday in an interview on the TV3 program Els Matins, where he assured that Spain will have to begin the process of introducing tolls on motorways as imposed by Brussels. What I can tell you is that next year, under the imposition of Brussels, we will have to introduce tolls. Brussels is demanding it of us, said the head of the DGT. So there we go, and fairly clear from the words of the head of the traffic authority here in Spain, Mr. Navarro, that tolls are going to be introduced on motorways here in Spain, motorways that are currently free. Tolls will be introduced next year because it is a European Union directive. But, and here comes the good news, apparently, according to the government, this is not going to happen because the government has come out and assured that it will not impose tolls on motorways in 2024, following the statements by the director of the DGT. The government has assured that it will not impose tolls on motorways in 2024. The clarification comes after the Director General of Traffic, Pere Navarro, stated on Thursday that in 2024, they will begin to implement a fee on the Spanish road network by imposition of the European Commission, words that he later rectified. DGT Director Pere Navarro says that he deeply regrets the confusion generated by his statements on a matter on which he does not have any direct information or any powers attributed to him to be able to make a statement. The Minister for Transport, Raquel Sánchez, also denied this categorically. So that is what we are dealing with here in Spain. The head of the traffic authority, Mr. Navarro, comes out on Thursday and says that tolls will be put on motorways here in Spain in 2024, currently free motorways, so next year we will have to pay to use those motorways, according to him and according to the European Union. But of course on Monday, Mr. Sánchez said that that was not going to be the case. He was asked this question on Monday and denied it, and on Thursday somebody else comes out and says the opposite, and then of course has to backtrack and say that he made a mistake because somebody higher up in the government has obviously had a word with this person. So somebody is telling fibs here, whether it's the Prime Minister, Mr. Sánchez, or the head of the traffic authority, somebody is not telling the truth. And I reckon I know who it is, and in 2024, most likely, we'll see tolls on the roads. But of course, you don't want to tell people this 10 days out from a general election, right? Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from ADY, I'm in my 60s and I'd love to run with bulls. Yeah, ADY, thanks for the comment, and what are you waiting for? Come down to Pamplona next year and run with the bulls. Or in fact, you can run with the bulls in other places around the country too. It doesn't have to be Pamplona. You can do this in other towns and cities around Spain. It's quite common, so plenty of opportunities for you to run with the bulls. But what I will say is that if you decide to do this, be very, very careful. We saw yesterday the case of a guy from the Netherlands who came down to Pamplona, decided to run with the bulls. 58 years old he was, and he ended up with a bull's horn through his scrotum. That's right, I'll say it again, through his scrotum. So if anyone out there is planning to run with the bulls, my advice to you would be to take care, and if you are young and planning to run with the bulls and still want to have a family, be careful, because as we saw yesterday or the day before, you might get your nutsack ripped open. One here from Kathy, it's a shame the wonderful brave bulls didn't gore all the stupid people who ran in the bull run. This should be banned in this day and age. All these festivals where live animals are used have no place in 2023. Where are you, European Union, to allow this cruelty to carry on? Yeah, Kathy, thanks for the comment, and I'm sure that there are lots of people out there who agree 100% with your words. But unfortunately for a lot of people, yourself included, Kathy, I can't see the San Fermin festival being banned anytime soon. And the reason for that is clear, because it's all about the money. Money, money. One here from Teddy, I believe it's a bit unfair that Spanish leaders are criticised for not speaking a second language. How many UK Prime Ministers only speak English? I don't like such double standards. Yeah, Teddy, thanks for the comment, but as we know, English is the lingua franca of the European Union. Whenever a German person sits down with a French person or a Spanish person or a Portuguese person, the common language is English, and that's why it's important for prime ministers in this country, in my opinion, to speak a second language. Maybe it doesn't have to be English, maybe it could be French, maybe it could be German, but they need to have communication skills in two languages. And the reason why UK Prime Ministers don't speak a second language, maybe some have, maybe Boris Johnson could speak French, I don't know, but the reason is because English, as I said, is the lingua franca of the European Union. Still, don't know for how much longer, but today it is the lingua franca. One here from Zhao, do a premium beer review. Yeah, Zhao, thanks for the comment and thanks for your support on this idea. I put this idea forward yesterday in the live stream. I said I might do a beer review, get 5 or 6 different premium beers, sit down and try them and give my opinions on the different beers. Some people have already put forward their ideas as to which beers I should try, so if you've got an idea, if you want me to try a certain type of Spanish beer, the comment section is the place for you. Leave it there, but remember, no supermarket brand beers, please. And the final comment here from Joe Blogs, the law might state 27 degrees Celsius for aircon in public buildings, but from what I have seen, many shops and businesses are ignoring this. Usually I see aircon set at 25 degrees, which is acceptable. 27 is dumb considering room temperature is 20 degrees. Yeah, Joe, thanks for the comment and referring to Spain's energy law that was put in place last year by Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, a law that says that you can't set your air conditioner to below 27 degrees Celsius if you are in a public space, for example, public buildings, shops, government buildings, things like that. Restaurants can't set their temperatures legally below 27 degrees Celsius. But as Joe points out, a lot of businesses here in Spain are not paying attention to this law and are setting their air conditioners to 25 degrees Celsius or lower. And let's be honest, I haven't seen too many businesses getting fines because they have their air conditioning set at below 27 degrees Celsius. But I agree with Joe when he says that it's a pretty dumb idea anyway. But hey, that's living in Spain for you. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. If you have an opinion on anything that I have spoken about today, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.